There we go. uh, oh, hey, Maddie. I see you're excited, I think. Oh, they're all, is that the joke? They're all red emojis. Is that the joke? I hear you. I hear you. So yeah, this is the third anniversary of the release of Red War. It's a little weird to think it's actually been that long. It feels longer, yet not at the same time. It's weird. Oh, jeez. I think it doesn't help that I released two Red Wars in the same year, with one of those being so lengthy, like for what I'm used to. So, yeah, that's crazy. Jeez. Uh, yeah, I get it. So, yeah, if you haven't noticed by the thumbnail, we're doing the anniversary edition, which, one, it's just fitting to do it on Red War's anniversary, but then also, it's the more definitive version of Red War, so it makes more sense to do it that way. Ah, jeez. Yeah, as much as I would have loved to do both Red Wars tonight, I don't have the time or energy, because showtime alone is very lengthy, so it takes me roughly about six and a half hours, and I'm a fast reader who's read this story bajillion times, so it's definitely lengthy, definitely more lengthy than I have time for, that I'm sure you've got time for, especially this relatively late, so yeah, there we are with that. Alright. Well, I suppose we should at least get it booted up, shouldn't we? Yeah. Okay. Alright, yeah, I guess let's just boot it up. This anniversary edition of Red War features a developer commentary feature that will showcase behind-the-scenes info during the story. Would you like this enabled? Do I want to go through the developer? Yeah, might as well. Let's enable it. Developer commentary enabled. Thank you. Enjoy the story. Yeah, because on Showtime, there's a warning like that in the beginning for like the graphic content and stuff like that, because yeah. Not as much graphic content in this one, at least visually. Like, yeah, you know. Alright. Well, let's enjoy the story, shall we? Yeah. I still love that whole setup with the time change stuff like that. It's so simple. Yet, like, for a guy who was still relatively new to programming at the time, it was, like, such a cool thing that I was able to work that out. Graphic content. Well, I'm sure some people will find some of the stuff that happens here hot, but, it wasn't intended to do that, that's for sure. 3 hours and 30 minutes until the siren sounds. I'd honestly lost track of how long I'd been out here. It felt like hours, but it could have only been minutes. I thought I would have been used to the gunfire in the distance by now, but this whole night has been full of surprises now, hasn't it? Hold on. Yeah, I just want to make sure the audio is good. Leia, let me know if like one thing is too loud or the other or something. Honestly, the biggest surprise is that I was able to find a place to hide, if only temporarily. Those damn people. No, those damn monsters. They've been seemingly all across the city all night. No matter where you looked, one was there. Whether they were beating cars, shooting buildings, or slashing people on the street, they were doing something to cause us misery. It's all because of this damn war. I think he's over here. I held my breath. Surely they're not talking about me, are they? I had to have been far enough ahead of them. I had to. Found him. Oh God, please no. It was a different voice this time. A human voice. Thought you could hide from us forever, eh? Please, just let me go. I promise I'll... I covered my mouth and squeezed my eyes shut. Even though it was clearly not me they were firing at, it sounded way closer than I would have preferred. I could then hear footsteps near where the action had taken place. A female voice could be heard. Damn! I'm surprised he was able to hide from you that long. He never stood a chance. Nobody escapes from me. Except he did, which is why we were chasing after him in the first place. Just shut up and search the rest of the alley. Those stupid humans love hiding in them during the war. I could hear a gun cocking. Roger that, hot stuff. Shit. I mean, there's a chance they might not spot me behind this dumpster, but they're way too smart to leave a stone unturned. That one sounded way too close. Find something? Maybe. Oh God, no. Hello. Nighty night. Man, what an intro. This brings back memories. Jeez. Yeah, 3 years ago. It's crazy to think. Crazy to think it's that long. Sorry, I'm just being filled with like a huge wave of nostalgia right now. Man. 3:19 p.m., March 31st, 2029. 2 hours and 41 minutes until the siren sounds. They had announced the names of the 5 cities nearly 24 hours ago. Hi, I'm Cole Goodrich, writer and developer of Red War. During your playthrough, click on the exclamation mark icon when it appears to learn some behind-the-scenes information about the development of this visual novel. Yeah, I wonder how much of the stuff I actually remember about that behind-the-scenes stuff. I wonder how much of that I actually remember. Like, I wonder if I'll be surprised by any facts that I had put there. We'll see. They had announced the names of the 5 cities nearly 24 hours ago. One was Stockholm, Sweden, another was some city in Germany, and another was in Australia, I believe. To be completely honest, I didn't pay too much attention to all the city names, because they didn't matter to me. What did matter is that one of those cities was Springfield. My Springfield. I don't attempt to hide my source of inspiration for Red War. It's essentially the film The Purge, but with some elements added to make it make more sense. For example, why are the murderers in this event so bloodthirsty? Because it's ingrained in their DNA. Though I've always found it a bit funny that the version with aliens is the version that makes more sense. Yeah, that's what I say all the time. Yeah, what does that say about the original if the version that has aliens in it makes more sense? It had been chaos ever since Springfield was declared as a war zone. Which is ironic, since it wasn't supposed to be chaotic until the siren blared through the streets. Most people, my father and I included, were a bit shocked. Surely there had to have been other cities in the world worthy of being a war zone. Hell, surely there had to have been other cities in the country worthy of being a war zone. But no, Springfield was chosen out of all available cities on the planet. So why the name Springfield? Well, like a well-known media series that also uses that as the town's name, it was meant to represent an anywhere town, showing that this was more about the events occurring in the town rather than the town itself. But for those curious, the Springfield in this story is Springfield, Illinois. So there you go. As unlikely as it seemed, it was reality, and people were not excited about it. And the government certainly didn't waste any time getting everything prepared. The barrier was set up within an hour of the announcement, giving people next to no time to skip town. Of course, if you did want to skip town, you'd have to pay a toll. Ironic, usually you pay tolls to get in somewhere protected, not to get out. With all the people trying to get out, there were just as many people trying to get in. Well, I say people, but those things are not people. They're as inhuman as you can get. And ever since they arrived, our world has changed. They say for the better, but nearly every human on Earth knows how wrong that is. The first ever version of this story was started around 2014 under the name Red Knight. In that story, the Red were still otherworldly creatures, but they were robotic rather than organic, with REDD standing for Robotically Engineered Destruction Devices. When I changed the concept from Red Knight to Red War, I changed them to organic creatures, but still decided to keep the name Red. It doesn't canonically stand for anything anymore, though. Perhaps you can come up with a clever name? I remember my friend Dems, he was streaming Red War around the time it was released. And in the chat, we had come up with an acronym for Red, but for the life of me, I don't remember what it was. His stream is still on his channel, so I'm sure I'll find it, but yeah, we actually came up with a fitting acronym for Red. As you can see, the sole entrance and exit point of the city is completely backed up as people are desperately trying to get out before 6 o'clock. While history has shown that not all of them will be able to leave by then, it's a risk many in Springfield, as well as the other war zones, are willing to take, and I certainly do wish them the best of luck. As do all of us in the studio. Thank you, Carol. In Red Knight, the main humans were a single father and his 2 younger children. The father was named Marcus, the son is named Casey, and the daughter named Angie. Originally, the story was from the perspective of Marcus, the father, and that was going to translate over to this visual novel. But I soon realized that it might be more interesting to see it from the eyes of the teenage Casey, and obviously Angie changed from the younger daughter to the mother. Right, I do remember that. With the Red War commencing in a little less than 3 hours now, stay tuned and we'll tell you everything you need to know about safety and how you might be able to survive. And later, we'll sit down and have an exclusive interview with Lord Reddington himself and hear his thoughts and predictions for this Red War. Then cut to a commercial break. I sighed and turned to my dad. How can you stay so calm about this whole thing, Dad? Red War was created as an entry for NaNoWriMo, an annual game jam with the goal of creating and releasing an entire visual novel from start to finish within the 31 days of March. I actually should check out some of the stuff that were created for this year. Because yeah, today is the last day of NaNoWriMo, so yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what was made this year. I haven't really been following it. I had intended to use placeholder characters during development and then create custom assets during the month, but due to time restraints, I had to end up using the placeholders as final assets. They certainly served their purpose, and they certainly looked very appealing, but I'd always hoped to one day use custom characters. Thankfully, I got that wish with this VN sequel, Red War Showtime, as my friend Hazard Square created the character assets for that. With no convincing needed, she also created the character art for this anniversary edition, thus fulfilling my ultimate goal from a year ago. Yeah, the original sprites definitely have a place in my heart, but yeah, at the end of the day, you could tell they were just the bare minimum. But they exist. Well, obviously the original version of the Red War exists, but they mainly exist on as emojis in the Good Tales server, so there you go. How can you stay so calm about this whole thing, Dad? Well, panicking isn't really going to get anyone anywhere, now is it? But you know what those monsters are capable of. He let out a small sigh. Yes, I do. But there's nothing we can do about that, son. No matter what the protesters say or do, this Red War will commence at 6. And that's just how it's going to be. That's the world we live in now. But it shouldn't have to be. You're preaching to the choir, Casey. Believe me, I'd love nothing more than for those creatures to go back to whatever planet they came from, but realistically, that's just not happening. So the most we can do is stay calm, lock down the fort, and do whatever it takes to make it to 6 a.m. Besides, according to statistics, Red are more likely to attack someone on the street than someone locked in a random home. But the possibility is still there. I know. That's why we have to not let our guard down and be on the lookout for any potential threats. Look, it's gonna be a long night. Why don't you get some quick rest? There'll be a nice hot meal waiting for you when you wake up. Alright, whatever you say, Dad. Commercials ended and Dad looked back at the TV. Slowly got up and started walking upstairs. I wasn't really tired, but he's right. It's going to be a long 12 hours, and we need to be in peak focus. It's the only way we're going to survive the Red War. Who am I kidding? Even the best of the best can have a hard time surviving the Red War. I laid in bed and stared at the ceiling. Part of me still couldn't believe that this was happening, that in a few hours our town would become a living hell. Honestly, accepting the fact that these damn aliens even exist is still hard to wrap my mind around. Everyone thought it was a hoax when there were reports of a crash landing from space in Antarctica back in 2023. Yeah, prepare yourself, folks. If we're living in the Red War timeline, we've got a little less than a year before Red War becomes a reality, before the Red crash on Earth. So, yeah, brace yourselves for that. The attacks on the bottom of the globe said otherwise, however. Thankfully, they were stopped by the time they got too close to the equator, but... well, the military should have just killed them all when they had the chance. But no, we had to sign a peace treaty and make a compromise. We can't help it, they said. It's just in our nature to kill. It's the nature of some humans to kill, but they don't get a free pass to go on a slaughter spree. Not that anyone gives a shit. It only took less than a year for the first ever Red War to begin. They really wanted to appease these monsters ASAP. Since I wasn't too tired, I took out my phone and scrolled through Twitter. Yeah, that's how you know we're in a dystopian timeline. Twitter still exists. Sorry, I had to get that jab in there. As to be expected, hashtag RedWar2029 was the #1 trending topic. There were a lot of people from school who were rightfully freaking out, though there was that one preppy bitch who posted a selfie of her in New York, claiming how thankful she was to get out as soon as the announcement was made. Hate to break it to you, Heather, but not everyone has a rich daddy. But for every post about a human about how terrified they were, there was just as many posts from Red about how excited they are. I even saw one post a photo of a local park, saying they can't wait to start having some fun there. Honestly, I never really liked that place anyway, but still. This is the kind of feed you see every year, so nothing really surprised me that much. But that's when I saw it. I saw the post that really got to me. It honestly really shouldn't have as much as it did, but it really got to me. Very disappointed that Texas, the most America state in the country, has not been chosen for hashtag RedWar2029. Why did @Lord Reddington have to pick some stupid town in a stupid state? Fun fact, I didn't realize this until afterwards. Lord Reddington actually is a real Twitter handle, and it has absolutely nothing to do with Red War. So, future reference, for whatever reason, should this Red War blow up, I'm sorry for @Lord Reddington. I'm sorry. Honestly, I suppose the most realistic option is to, like, update it to where it's, like, @real Lord Reddington. I mean, it's not my biggest priority, but that's realistically the best solution I could come up with. I'll admit that I don't live in the most pleasant of states, but to hear some inhuman freak of nature say that about my hometown really rubbed me the wrong way. @JohnnyDeRed, because Texas is too good of a place to be trashed by ugly little shits like you. I probably should have just left it alone, especially with the whole don't piss off the Red rule everyone is essentially forced to follow, but he's in Texas. He can't hurt me. I then got a DM notification. It was from Jenny Barnes. I swore my heart skipped a beat. Why does Jenny Barnes want to talk to me? Well, I suppose I could figure that out if I actually read the message, now couldn't I? Hey, I know we don't really talk much in school, but with the Red War happening tonight, I really wanted to tell you something. What could she possibly want to tell me? She's right that we don't really talk much, only in homeroom and sometimes lunch, but even then it's just talking about homework. Guess there's really only one way to get this conversation going. What did you want to tell me? It felt like an eternity, but I finally got my response. I like you. I stared at the screen. I reread that message several times just to make sure I understood it. I wanted to ask if this was a joke, but she doesn't seem like the kind of girl to do that. Of course, I can't just leave her on red, or that'll give off the totally wrong impression. Really? I'm sure I could have come up with something better, but I just had to say something while I still tried to comprehend the situation. Jenny Barnes, the outgoing girl on the path to becoming valedictorian, likes me. Me! Yes, I do. I don't know if you feel the same way, and honestly, that doesn't really matter to me. I just feel like you need to know that in case I don't survive the Red War tonight. Honestly, she brings up a good point. Springfield wasn't declared a war zone until after school had let out for the weekend, so nobody really got the chance to say their potential final goodbyes to each other in person. Yeah, I actually did look up when March 31st, 2029 would be, just to make sure that matched up, so... if you were going to tell someone something on the high chance you may never see them again, this certainly would be the time. I realized I'd been staring at the screen in thought for a few minutes when she sent another message. I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable or weirded out, Casey. You didn't, Jenny. If I'm being honest, I think I feel the same way. Casey, it's okay if you don't, really. I'm serious. I've always found you a little cute. Only a little? Oh yeah, and the emojis in this story are also on the Good Tales Discord, so... yeah, I probably should have left a link to that in the description, but I can do that at the end. Okay, a lot cute. It had been a few minutes and there was no response. Hopefully I didn't weird her out. I then let out a big yawn. Alright, I probably should get some rest. My life is literally counting on it. Oh boy. 5:04 p.m. March 31st, 2029. 56 minutes until the siren sounds. Getting the backgrounds for Red War was a bit of a miracle. About halfway through Nano, I had become acquainted with Maddie D, someone who may or may not be here right now, who advertised himself with making VN backgrounds that looked like watercolor paintings. He accomplished this by taking photographs and using some editing magic. Realizing that this style would pair well with the style I was going for, I hit him up and the rest is history. He even volunteered to re-edit the backgrounds to fit the more cartoony style of this anniversary edition. Yeah, thanks again for that, Maddie. That was pretty cool. Did I even read that? I woke up to the sound of my bedroom door opening. Turning towards the doorway in panic, I was relieved to see a familiar face. Dinner's ready. Now that you mention it, I could smell something wafting through the house. What is that, pizza? I figured with your mother out of the house, we could have a men's dinner of sorts. Oh yeah, have you heard anything from her? I'll take that as a no. Well, no news is good news, right? People are still trying to get out of Springfield, so there's a good chance she's one of the ones near the exit. I'd hope so. She left hours ago. Well, she wouldn't want us to worry about her. When she gets out, she'll call us. Now come on. Dinner's gonna get cold. As I left my room, I couldn't help but look outside. The sun was slowly going down, and the streets were practically empty. Honestly, I'll consider that a blessing given the circumstances. I then took a look at my phone. Jenny had responded. Sorry, was eating, lol. But aw, I'm glad you feel the same way. Phew, that's a relief. I'm about to eat. In case I don't hear from you before 6, be safe tonight. With that, I went downstairs. Sure enough, a cooked frozen pizza and 2 plates could be seen on the kitchen counter. After we each took half, we sat in the living room, continuing to watch the news. Joining us on call right now was the leader of the REDD himself, coming to us live from the Antarctic. The screen then split in half, with the anchor on one side and a photo of a large REDD with fancy clothing on the other. He looked professional enough, but his influence over our planet is just disgusting. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Reddington. Lord Reddington, Mr. Michaels. Right, Lord Reddington. The anchor got very nervous for a second, but quickly regained his composure. Now, with the Red War starting in less than an hour, we know you have a lot on your plate, so we'll try not to take up too much of your time. A wise decision. His influence isn't the only thing to dislike about the guy. First of all, we're curious to hear how this year's war zones were decided. I took a bite of my pizza while Reddington chuckled. Well, every year there are a large number of willing participants who wish to exercise their biological right as REDD to unleash their true self. And also every year, I hear complaints from REDD who were unable to participate because they were not near any of the designated war zones. This year, I would have liked to select more than 5 cities as a solution to this issue, but you humans certainly do love limiting our freedoms, now don't you? The anchor just stared awkwardly, unsure how to respond to the madman. Regardless, I decided to select cities that could easily be accessed by REDD who wished to participate in this year's REDD War, while still remaining highly populated. I see. Well, statistics show that less and less REDD are participating in REDD Wars every year, with the 2027 REDD War having a 28% drop from the previous year and a 35% drop last year. Besides your reasoning of less REDD being able to travel to the war zones, do you speculate that there could be other possibilities behind this drop in numbers? Reddington was silent for a few seconds before clearing his throat. Well, statistics have also shown that there are several REDD casualties during REDD Wars. After all, a war can't be completely one-sided. I scoffed and rolled my eyes. I'm fairly certain that has played a factor into the decrease in REDD participation, as well as my prior explanation. And you believe that those are the only 2 contributing factors in this matter? What exactly are you getting at, Mr. Michaels? Well, there have been surveys recently asking REDD a series of questions. Oh, is that right? And the results have shown that around 10% of REDD simply don't want to participate in the REDD War, even if it was based in their town. More silence. Finally, he replied, Well, at the end of the day, participating in the REDD War is a voluntary decision. I'm not going to force all REDD on the planet to go out and exercise their right if they don't wish to. Sounded a lot less confident all of a sudden. So yeah, even in the first entry, I hinted at the bigger picture of the REDD War that a lot of the REDD don't want the REDD War. So that's a factor that's going to play a that is a factor that's going to play a factor as the series progresses. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's when Dad's phone started to ring. He quickly muted the TV and answered. Angie! Oh, thank God. The first draft of REDD War included Angie staying at the house along with Marcus and Casey, but I soon realized that she didn't really have much of an impact on the story, or any impact she did make could have been done by Marcus. So in the end, she was sent away before the war began. On the bright side, it made a great showcase of the whole exit the barrier concept. Yeah, I do remember that, actually. Angie, oh thank God. I felt the weight lift off my shoulders. Mom was okay. Hold on, let me put you on speaker. He did just that and placed the phone on the coffee table. Hi, Mom. Casey. She sounded just as relieved as we were. So you're outside of Springfield then? Just barely, but yes, I am. Hearing that confirmation gave me slightly more hope about the upcoming events. I'm glad to hear that, honey. Yeah, but I just wish you two were here with me. Yeah, so do I. But knowing that you're safe from harm is all that matters. Still, I'm so scared for you two. I know, and I don't blame you. Don't you worry about us right now. Just get to Jane's house. Yeah, what Dad said. We'll be fine. Alright, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. I could hear her start to well up. Just know that I love you two so much. I love you too, Angie. I love you too, Mom. Please be safe. Please. We'll do our best. I could tell that wasn't the response Mom wanted to hear, but at least he's being honest. Okay, well, good luck, boys. I'll be rooting for you. Glad to hear. We then said our final goodbyes to each other, and Mom painfully hung up. Well, we better get ready. Yeah. It's almost showtime. Let's get this over with. Whew. $5:58. 2 minutes until the siren sounds. Things are getting real. The doors were locked. The curtains were shut. The lights were off. The gun was on the table. All we could do now was wait. With the only source of light in the house coming from the TV, we watched as the countdown on the bottom corner got lower and lower. The 6th annual REDD War is about to commence very quickly, and we all wish you the best of luck. We'll be broadcasting the war live from the studio turned safe house, so that those who are interested can witness tonight's events. Once again, we all wish you the best of luck, and may God be with you all. Then, the countdown hit to a minute left.
This is not a test. This is the official commencement of the annual REDD War. At the siren, all REDD within certified war zones will be exempt from any and all crime, including murder, for 12 consecutive hours. All humans who commit crime during these hours, excluding crimes committed for self-defense purposes, will receive the appropriate punishment at the conclusion of the REDD War. Weapons of Class 3 and lower have been authorized for use. All other weapons are forbidden. Government safe houses, and by extension the contents within, have been granted immunity from the REDD War and must not be harmed. All emergency services will be suspended until the siren sounds again at the conclusion of the REDD War. On behalf of your government and the REDD, we thank you for your cooperation and wish you the best of luck. The REDD War will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, this is it. The commencement sequence was the first thing I worked on. In any Purge story, the commencement always gives me goosebumps, with my only thought being, this is it, it's all about to go down. I knew I had to try and replicate that feeling of dread and suspense the best I could, so everything from the voice narration, done by yours truly, to the scrolling text, to the siren needed to be perfect. Also, fun fact, the REDD War siren was created by me humming loudly into the mic and applying audio filters. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, the commencement was the first thing was the first thing I programmed, because it's like, it just, I don't know. I mean, I guess I pretty much put it best. It just gives you so much fear and dread where you're just like, well, this is it, no going back now. It's my favorite part in any of the Purge movies, the Purge TV show, whatever. And then, REDD War, obviously another example where you're just like, well, here we go. Well, this is it. TV then switched to a live broadcast of the barrier exit, where cars could be seen still trying, hopefully, to get out. That's when the gunfire started. As people got out of the cars to hopefully flee, but failing to do so, I closed my eyes and put my head down. The REDD didn't waste a second of time getting a body count going. Turn it off. Don't gotta tell me twice. Dad then turned off the TV, leaving the house completely dark and quiet. So this is really happening. Yes, it is. I mean, I've seen footage of REDD Wars before, but actually knowing it's happening right in our own town. Hey. He then gave me a pat on the back. It'll be alright. Will it? I sure hope so. How reassuring. For now, they all seem preoccupied with the border. As wrong as it is to say, if they're attacking the people there, they're not attacking us. So let's just try to relax a little bit, okay? Well, that's about all we can do. Though that's very much easier said than done. If nothing else, just be thankful that your mother isn't here to have to deal with all this. Yeah, no kidding. Though I can't even begin to imagine the amount of stress she's going through regardless. Driving to Aunt Jane's in what is most likely very high traffic while worrying about what we're dealing with? That can't be good for the baby. He then lightly sighed. Well, it's only normal for all of us to be worried about each other. Especially compared to the families that simply leave their children behind during the REDD War. You're kidding, right? I mean, I've seen reports and such on it, and I can't really confirm how accurate they are, but in a fight-or-flight scenario such as a REDD War, I can see it being possible. Jeez. I mean, this isn't the most pleasant of conversation topics, but at least it's getting our minds off the images of innocent people getting mowed down. Anyway, I'll take the first shift of guard duty. You just take it easy. Well, no promises, but I'll try. I'll take that. He then placed a shotgun on the spot next to him while I made my way upstairs. This all feels very unreal. On one hand, there currently are no active threats near us, so it feels just like any other night. On the other hand, I can't help but wonder if some of the people I see on a daily basis are already dead. Classmates, teachers, people from the grocery stores. I mean, I can't honestly say I get along with all of them, but I would never wish death upon them. especially death via the Red War. At least wishing death normally could just be as simple as them accidentally getting run over by someone blowing a red light or having their heart stop while they sleep. Death with the Red War, though. While a lot of them will just do what they did at the barrier when it's nobody they care about, if they're going after someone in particular, they'll make sure to make the dying process as slow and painful as possible. You may think I'm exaggerating, but trust me, Red love to share stories about their kills. Some are even considerate enough to have archived photos and videos of the occasion. 10 years ago, you'd get in so much shit if you posted something like that. Thanks to the Red, you can basically get away with posting anything. I'll credit that as the one good thing they've contributed to society. I then took out my phone. I wasn't really in the mood to scroll through Twitter and see what was happening, so I decided to play a puzzle game to pass the time. I'll probably end up taking another nap soon, especially with me on guard duty within a couple hours, but I'm not really tired at the moment, as to be expected. Still, if things stay like this throughout the whole night, I'll consider that a success. Oh, Casey. "8:15 p.m. 9 hours and 45 minutes until the siren sounds. I don't recall actually falling asleep properly, but I did lay down for a while with my eyes closed. The fact that I wasn't jolted awake by any noise is a good sign, right? In fact, the first noise I heard in a long while was the sound of footsteps coming towards my door, but I recognized them as Dad's. I'm sure he's a bit surprised to see me awake. You did get rest, right? Well, I closed my eyes and laid down, if that answers your question. Well, it's something. Honestly, I almost fell asleep myself. Very uneventful night so far. We can only hope it'll stay that way. Indeed. That said, I wouldn't mind laying down in my bed myself. The gun's by the couch. Only use it if necessary, please. Scout's honor. Sitting on the couch with a gun in my lap wasn't something I ever thought I'd have a need to do, yet here we are. As Dad said, it's been very uneventful so far. There aren't any noises outside, not even the sound of gunfire. Well, maybe very muffled gunfire if you listen hard enough, but the light breeze is louder than that, so I think we're going to be fine. It's still weird to imagine that this is supposed to be the deadliest night of the year, yet this feels no different than a night I'd spend when a Red War was going on somewhere else. Part of me thinks maybe the Red War isn't as bad as I thought, but it probably wasn't the best idea, but I decided to finally open up Twitter on my phone. I saw some tweets from some of my classmates essentially stuck in a situation similar to mine. I thought that the hashtag Red War was supposed to be deadly. The only thing I've had die so far is my excitement. Hashtag Red War 2029. Though there was the occasional tweet from Red that showed off their kills in the downtown district. That's what these fuckers get for being brainless enough to be outside tonight. The hashtag Red War is the fucking best. A large row of decapitated corpses could be seen along the ground as maniacal laughter was heard. Men, women. Jesus, some of them were children. I quickly closed the app and tried to calm down. Okay, so maybe the Red War is as bad as I thought. But again, myself and some classmates are okay. Then again, it's only been a few hours. There's still plenty of time for something to happen. My phone screen lit up. I looked and saw I had gotten a message from Jenny. I stated earlier... Oh shit, did I miss... did I miss one? Did I miss one? But yeah, basically Jenny was added to extend the story more or less. I stated earlier Jenny was added to extend the story a bit. This scene here being the way of pulling that off. I figured giving Casey someone outside of the house to chat to while the Red War was going on would make for a more realistic experience, while expanding his character a bit to see what others think of him. The romance subplot is admittedly a bit cliche, but I feel like it works for this instance. Yeah, basically, because then the real meat of the story wouldn't happen until the next scene after, where like many hours have passed, so I feel like adding an in-between to like ease into that was just a better idea. How are things over there for you? Relieved that she was alive, I responded. Boring AF. LOL, same here. Not that I'm complaining. Have you seen some of the stuff they've done so far? I have. Scary shit. Horrifying. I just hope they don't find their way over here. Same. I then set my phone down and took a deep breath. It truly was relieving to know that someone I know and see on a regular basis is doing okay during this event. At least one person who I know wasn't beaten, slaughtered, shot, decapitated, burned alive. For the sake of getting those thoughts out of my mind, I decided to keep talking to her. So I have a question about something from earlier. What is it? You said you liked me. How long have you felt that way? I mean, if we're gonna confess our feelings because of a war, we may as well make sure we have all the information. I'm not really sure, TBH. It just clicked one day that I felt that way. Maybe it was spending so much time with you in class, seeing you every day, having that sense of familiarity, you know? The other guys at school are cool and all, but you're the only one I really feel comfortable with. Really? Casey, the Count Conrad, was the guy you were comfortable with? LOL. I mean, yeah, you can be a bit of a jerk, but honestly that's part of your charm. You're not afraid to tell people what you're thinking, even if you could cause trouble. You might even say that he's based AF. Which, let's be honest, though, is a lot of the time. Yeah. But it's not my fault that those damn aliens are fucking dicks. Believe me, I don't like the Red either, but you really should watch yourself. What if one of the Red from school comes after you tonight? What then? I think they would have found me by now. Well, I'd really be careful, Casey. Please. You know what? What do I have to lose by asking? Alright, I'll make you a deal. I'll be sure to be extra careful tonight, only if you agree to go on a date with me. Well, I said it. The question now is, what will happen? That depends. Well, it's better than a flat-out no. On? Would it be a fancy date where we ice skate and eat at Olive Garden, or would it be a casual date where we go bowling and have McDonald's? Is this a test? If I say the wrong choice, will she reject me? Doesn't matter to me. Whatever works for you. Then I hope you understand that you'll be going on a date with the undefeated bowling champ of Springfield. Suddenly, ice skating sounds really fun. ROFL. So it's a date then? I guess it is. Cool. Cool. And so we began a conversation talking about the ideal perfect date and time for our date. She keeps insisting that she'll smoke me with a perfect 300, but we'll just have to see. Hopefully. Neither of us wanted to say or admit it, but I could tell she was thinking it too. The other reason I felt like adding her? Other reason I felt like adding Jenny was justified was because it gave Casey some extra motivation to survive, especially with how the story goes later and the events of the war drastically changing his life forever. Having something positive to look forward to after it's all said and done is perfect fuel to keep running on despite everything. Neither of us wanted to say or admit it, but I could tell she was thinking it too. This date will only happen if we're both still breathing at 6 a.m. We could be confident in all we wanted, but the fact remained that we could end up on a top 10 kills of Red War 2029 list. Still, the thought of actually going on a date is certainly making me a little happy. Not only is Jenny Barnes going on a date with me, but she's doing it because she actually likes me. Man, come Monday, I'm going to be bragging about that to all the guys. Needless to say, our conversation was enough to keep me occupied during guard duty. I was still paying attention, obviously, but nothing was happening anyway. At least for now. Oh. 10:33. 7 hours and 27 minutes until the siren sounds. Any idea how things are going in town? I mean, to be honest, I've kind of been avoiding looking. Don't want to risk finding out the hard way that someone I know is dead, you know? I suppose that's true. I'm just worried that if they get bored with the downtown district too quickly, they might expand to the smaller areas. You kidding? I'm sure they're having a blast shooting up all the apartments over there. I'm sure they are. I guess maybe that was too casual to say, huh? Well, that's just how the world is, I guess. Anyway, feel free to relax and I'll worry about it. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Oh, by the way, have you heard anything from Mom? Last I knew, she had texted that she made it to Aunt Jane's house a couple of hours ago. That's good. Still, it might help to know she's alright. Yeah, I've been talking with a friend of mine from school just to check on each other. Well, that's good to hear. I don't want to tell Dad about me and Jenny's potential date yet, mostly because of the potential aspect of it. Though even if it was certain, I'd hate to distract him from survival by getting him excited about his son's first date. He then took out his phone to text Mom while I started towards the stairs. That's when we heard the scream. Someone help me, please! Despite the gunshot, we could still hear him scream, which I suppose is a good sign. Swapping the gun on the couch with his phone, Dad walked over to the living room window and slightly pulled back the curtain. What do you see? I whispered. What do you see? I whispered softly. Nothing. Oh. When the game still used the characters made from an online character generator, the issue of the characters not visibly holding guns when the script said they were was obvious. Fortunately, Slightly Simple volunteered to edit the sprites and add them holding the proper weapons. While the sprites are no longer in this version, giving Slightly Simple the proper credit for previous work feels necessary. Nothing. Nobody's gonna help you, shithead. You're only making this harder on yourself. Wow, that Red doesn't know how to aim, does he? Shh. I see something. What is it? A man. He's covered in blood. Horrified yet curious, I made my way over to the window and looked outside. Sure enough, there was a young man, maybe in his mid-20s, in torn clothes and covered in blood. He was looking around in a panic, clearly trying to hide from someone. Please, for the love of God, someone help me! I think that one was just a little louder. Should we help him? Dad just stared out the window for a few seconds before sighing and closed the curtain. Well? No, Casey. What? The last thing we need is for the Red that are after him to come after us. Dad, we're really gonna let that man die? Suddenly there was panic banging on the door. Somebody? Anybody? Please! I ran towards the door, but Dad grabbed my arm. Casey, no. Dad, we can't just let an innocent man die. Casey, thousands of innocent people are dying tonight. We have to do what's best for us. I just stared at him. I didn't expect my father to say something so selfish, but... Gotcha! A slam could be heard against the door, as if someone was being forced against it. Should've just kept going, genius. You might have actually had a chance. Somebody help me, please! Nobody's gonna help you. You're all alone. Hey, wait up! Don't kill him! A new voice could be heard, a female one. I could hear sprinting coming towards us. You always get the kills. I want to get this one. Well, maybe you should have gotten him first. Fuck you! I deserve this kill. Come on, guys. Please stop. A quiet, timid voice could be heard now. When did a third one get here? There was silence, save for the shaky breathing of the potential victim. Finally, I heard movement. You know what? You kill him. What? Come on, you can do this. There was shuffling, as well as a few screams from the man. Look, got him right here. Just shoot him. Be a true Red. More silence. Please, don't do this. Shut up. She then hit him. Just kill him already, you pussy. Dad and I looked at each other with concern. There's a chance we could have stopped this, but at the same time, that could have easily been us in that position as a result. Finally, we heard something drop. I can't. I'm sorry. I could then hear the other male sigh. Come on, it's not that hard. Please, just... Ha! I knew you were too big of a pussy to do it. I could be mistaken, but it sounded like the man gave a small chuckle of relief. Then I could hear footsteps walking towards the timid one. Alright then. But next time I'm not letting you off the hook this easily. Dad and I jumped a little bit, but our noise was covered up by the sound of the dropping body. Hey! I wanted to kill him, you fucker! Oops. Dad and I were still staring at each other in horror. An innocent man just died on our porch. A human being, like the both of us, is now lying dead on the other side of our front door. But we still remained silent as we heard the footsteps walking away. Look, you need to stop being a little coward, alright? You're a Red. You need to act like one. I don't know why you bother, hon. He's never gonna be a real Red. The designs of these 3 Red were unchanged from their inception. That's a rare occurrence for any visual medium, but the time constraints of Nano played a bit of a factor, but the initial designs just matched their respective personalities perfectly. I still stand by that. Oh, yes, he will. I'll make sure of it. Just gotta take baby steps, that's all. Baby steps. I don't think there are baby steps for murder. You either kill something or you don't. Trust me, baby. I can turn this coward into a full-fledged murder machine by the end of the night. Whatever you say. And it starts with this house. Let's just go in there and start trashing the place. Oh, I just realized now that Timot's being covered up by my webcam. Hold on. Oh, that should be better. Let's just go in there and start trashing the place. Dad and I stared at each other with widened eyes. Huh? Why? Why not? It's the Red War. If we can't kill, we can at least have fun other ways. I don't know. Stop wasting your time with this little bitch. Come on, it's an empty house. You can still act like a Red even without killing anyone. From the original story's conception back in 2014, I had always planned to have one nice Red in the group save the day, though the original idea was him to hide his kindness to fit in with the rest of the group, making the reader believe he was also one of them. For the 2019 visual novel, I decided to make him being the odd one out a big plot element to showcase how Red treat Red who don't conform to the proper way of living. Come on, it's an empty house. You can still act like a Red without killing anyone. Well, how do we know it's empty? Ha! If someone was home, don't you think they would have let that poor son of a bitch inside? Humans are always helping other humans this time of year. Okay, I suppose we can do that. Shit. What are we gonna do? Dad then grabbed onto my arm. Upstairs. Now. He then moved us towards the stairs quickly and quietly. Just in time. We were both sitting on top of the stairs, my father's hands never letting go of his gun. From this angle, they shouldn't be able to see us, but any movement to get farther away from will only result in noise. Wow, these poor saps have a nice place. Let's change that. The gunfire was so loud I almost screamed. But fortunately for us, we can use this to our advantage. With Dad and I nodding at each other, we then booked it down the hall and into the closest room we could get to, mine. Using the gunfire to mask the closing of the bedroom door, we took a second to relax. So now what? We'll just have to stay calm and hide. They have to get bored of our house eventually. Yeah, when they shoot up every inch of the place. Look, if nothing else, we have this. He then held the gun. The rules say we can only kill a Red in self-defense, so if they find us, we have a way out. Well, I guess he's right. We'll just have to stick it out and hope for the best. Alright, well there's a good example of how to fuck up the house. What do you say we try another room? I mean, I guess, but... Very early versions gave Leader, Girl, and Timid real proper names, Jarvis, Rachel, and Sean respectively. But the idea was scrapped because I felt like having nameless antagonists made for a better and realistic story. They were going to be Leader, Girl, and Timid by default, and once they entered the house, Casey/the player would come up with names for the Red to be known as them. Would come up with names for the Red to be known as to them, but I decided to keep it simple and stick with those names permanently. So, yeah, just because these are the early names, these are not canon names. These aren't secretly their names, so their names, their real names, are whatever you want them to be. Alright, one second. My throat's killing me a second. I need to get a drink real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I mean, I guess, but... Look, just trash up one room and I'll stop forcing this on you, okay? One room? Yep, trash it as much as this one and I won't make you kill anyone. I mean, if you want to, that'd be awesome, but... You know, no need to. Okay then. Pussy. I'll do it, I swear. Oh, I'm sure you will. Just sad that it took this much convincing. You're a red. Why you gotta be this overly sensitive, I don't know. Look, just be glad he's improving. Like I said, baby steps. So, which room are you thinking? I guess the kitchen, since it's right here. Alright then. We could hear the footsteps enter the kitchen, as well as guns being cocked. Dad looked at me with relief before pulling towards me and whispering very quietly. See? They'll just trash the kitchen and be off. We'll be fine. Tim and then began shooting. Our kitchen is relatively small anyway, so hopefully it shouldn't take long. It's kind of a shame. We had some good food in the fridge. After a few minutes, the gunfire stopped. Well, I mean, it wasn't that bad, I guess. There you go. Well, I guess you're not a total pussy. But I still say you're not a real red until you've killed someone. Alright, deal's the deal. I won't force you to do anything violent. Hey, look, on the couch. What is it? Looks like a cell phone. It's a fucking nice one, too. Well, you know, besides the horribly cracked screen and bullet holes. That's weird. Humans are inseparable from their cell phones. Why would this one leave theirs behind for the Red War? Why would they indeed? This is very bad. I could tell Dad wanted to say something, but any talking now would give us away. Alright, let me ask you this. Do you really want to do any more participating in the Red War? I mean... Alright then. Said you've clearly been uncomfortable all night. Why don't you stay here for the rest of the war? Eh? Huh? I mean, nobody's home anyway, so they clearly won't be back until after the war, right? Well, I guess. They'll never know you loitered here, I promise. That said, call us if you find anything suspicious. Suspicious? Like what? Just anything you think we would want to know about. Okay. He clearly sounded confused. But if you do find something suspicious and don't tell me, you might not like what happens. Well, come along, baby. We've still got plenty of time and people to kill. Fuck yeah! Well, what a predicament we found ourselves in. As we heard the Red exiting the house, leaving only their timid friend behind, it made me realize just how interesting the rest of this night is going to be. Yeah, that's one way to put it. "12 a.m., April 1st, 2029. 6 hours until the siren sounds. Took a lot of slow movements, but we were able to sit down without making any noise. Honestly, if I didn't have my phone, I wouldn't have any idea how long we were up here. Unfortunately, since Dad didn't have his phone, we couldn't text each other to communicate. Suppose we could just take turns writing messages and passing the phone along. But he looks too ashamed to want to say anything anyway. Suddenly, my phone lit up. We're halfway through! I smiled with relief when I got that notification. She's still alive. Dad took notice of my joy. I could tell he wanted to ask, but he couldn't without giving us away. Yes, we are. How are things over there? They're pretty good. I hate to have her worried right now. Plus, technically I'm telling the truth. No immediate signs of danger. That's a relief. Things are going well over here, too. I haven't seen any sign of Red anywhere near me. Kinda makes me forget what's going on, lol. Haha, yeah, IKR. So you haven't seen any Red either? Well, if we're going on a date, I suppose I should be somewhat honest with her. I have, actually, but don't worry, they didn't see me. Hey, certainly sounds more exciting than my night so far. LOL. Suddenly I heard movement downstairs. Sounded like he was going into the dining room, which is right below my room. I then heard him start talking. No, there's nothing here. I'm just bored. Sounds like he's on the phone. Well, where are you guys at? I can meet you there. Oh no. My nose began to twitch. I quickly plugged it to try and stop it. Dad was looking at me with panic. Okay then, I'm on my way. I'm trying to hold it back, but everyone in the house was silent. I don't know. Look, don't worry about it. I'm on my way to the park to meet you guys. I'll see you there. More footsteps could be heard heading to the living room. But instead of going out the door, they were going up the stairs. Dad then pointed to my closet. Being quiet but quick, we made our way inside, with the footsteps getting even closer. The footsteps stopped right outside the bedroom door. Dad and I held our breaths as the door slowly opened up. He was looking around the empty room with caution. This was the one scene in the entire story that gave me chills upon progressing through it. The claustrophobic nature, silence, and slow movements all combined to make what I personally find the most unnerving moment in Red War. I still stand by that. He was unarmed, and he certainly showed no intentions of killing, but when it comes to the Red War, there's no such thing as too careful. Did he really fall for it? Are we in the clear? Dad and I looked at each other before he gave a small nod. I then opened up the door. The Red was standing right in front of the closed bedroom door. He was glaring at us with a threatening look. Three of us just stared at each other, nobody sure what to do next. Alright, you've caught us. Originally, Casey was the one who would be talking to Timid here, but as I progressed through writing, I realized that it made more sense for Marcus to do so, making Timid and Casey's interaction towards the end of the story more of a first encounter scenario. Right, I do remember that. Alright, you've caught us. Just please let us go. Pretend you didn't see anything. Please, you're better than them. Shut up. I know you don't have it in you to hurt us, and you don't need to act like you do. I said shut up! And with that, he left the room. He then went down the stairs and out of the house. Well, that could have been worse. Yeah, I suppose it could have. We then spent about 30 seconds just laughing. I don't know if it was shock and panic wearing off or what, but we both really needed to get that out of our system. Finally, Dad looked at the bedroom door. Well, now that we can feel free to talk again, how's that friend of yours doing? The one you've been talking to? She seems to be doing fine. She, huh? Dad! I'm just teasing you, Casey. Glad to hear she's okay, though. Speaking of which, why don't you text Mom and ask how she's doing? Good idea. Hi, Pepper. What you doing? What you doing, baby girl? You being cuckoo? You being cuckoo like the cuckoo kitty you are? 1:10 a.m. 4 hours and 50 minutes till the siren sounds. Oh, so this friend really is more than that, eh? More than that, eh? Yeah. Are you nervous? A little, yeah. Though I'm not sure if it's because of the whole Red War thing going on. I suppose that could be part of it, yes. We had run out of conversation topics, and with Jenny occasionally checking in on me, it was only a matter of time before I told Dad the truth. Still, my boy on his first date. I'm sure your mother will be just as excited as I am. I don't know. I'm sure she'd want to run a full background check on Jenny before she makes her final opinion. Well, from what you've been telling me, this Jenny girl is top of the class, right? Basically. Then I'm sure your mom will love her. Plus, she'll have a fun story to tell her on your date. Huh? You know, the whole red in our house thing? Oh, right. Guess I just didn't really see that as tell her that worthy. At least on a first date. Perhaps you're right. Well, no matter what you do, I'm sure it'll go great. Just promise me one thing. What's that? That if the time comes, she'll use protection. Dad! I'm just kidding. Well, not completely, as you should use it, but never mind. Just don't do anything irresponsible, okay? I then gave a small chuckle. Alright, I promise. I then leaned back on my bed and thought. It's crazy. The Red War's over halfway done. Time sure really is flying by, isn't it? That it is. Mom's safe, Jenny's safe, we're safe. I think everything's gonna be... Dad and I both turned towards my door. Who could that possibly be? Come on, man, you're wasting your time. I'll believe that when I check this place for myself. What the hell? I'm telling you, there was nothing here. Then there's no need to piss your pants over a simple check of the house. I don't know, babe. I think he's telling the truth. Since when do you back down on the possibility of finding humans to kill? Since the chance of having our time wasted came into play. I'd rather be somewhere where we know people are. Exactly. The Red War will be ending soon. I wouldn't want you to waste a second of it. You're only wasting time by keeping me here instead of checking the fucking house. The sooner we look, the sooner we can get the fuck out. Now sit your ass on the couch. Let's go, babe. Or what? Alright, how about this? If I find someone, I'll let you kill them. Pepper, please get out of the way.